Good morning, warrior family. Happy Tuesday. Blessed Tuesday it is to be alive, to be breathing, to have all of my members intact, and I've been praying for the same thing for you as well. Now, on last week, I started this devotional about mid-faith crisis. And these are the ways that you can be able to tell when you're in a mid-faith crisis. But God told me to run it back because it was so much information given through my written devotionals that I needed to speak this into existence because we are all carrying the weight of mid-faith crisis in these times. So the first point out of experiencing mid-faith crisis is when doubt creeps in. Have you had a mid-faith crisis? What did that look like for you? Because for many of us, it starts with wondering what happened to our faith, why we don't think and believe the way we used to. But the good news is that while this is a painful crisis, it can be healthy and even necessary. Initially, the crowds that followed Jesus were excited. They lived hard lives, and here was something new. Jesus brought healing and comfort and the promise that God's kingdom did not belong to the powerful, but was right here among them. But for many, the excitement wore off quickly. So John writes of a time when the crowd started to dwindle, when even his disciples started to grumble, and many turned away from him. Jesus turned to his closest 12 friends and asked, "Do you want to leave me too?" Notice that they don't say, "No, you're the best. We never doubted." In fact, we know for sure that many of them were bewildered most of the time. But they stayed. They kept going even when they didn't understand. Most of us today experience something like this. There was something in the Christian message that caught our attention and we were excited, but it hasn't all planned out the way we hoped or expected. Life continues to be hard, and for so many reasons, we're just not as sure as we once were. The good news is that faith doesn't require certainty. The 12 who stayed with Jesus were still quite confused and went on to let him down, even abandoned him on the hardest night. But they kept trying, kept following, kept searching. Not perfectly, not by a long shot. When we lost so much faith that we can hardly keep going, how do we know when to throw in the towel? Jesus said that faith the size of a mustard seed could move mountains, and a mustard seed isn't very much. You can find this story listed in the book of John 6 and 60 through 69, and also in the book of Matthew 17 through 20. Have a blessed day, family, and may this word be edifying to your week, to your mind, soul, and body. And remember, fight for joy. You are not alone.